Hi, I'm Gerda and I play the role of Coca-Cola's CEO, Goizeta, during one of the most transformative periods in the company's history. As CEO, my responsibility is to make decisions that secure Coca-Cola's long-term success, even when those decisions are difficult or unpopular. This change challenges me as a leader because I know that refocusing on soft drinks will disrupt people's lives and create a lot of uncertainty. My goal in this meeting is to listen, understand the emotional impact on employees and managers, and to also guide the organization with clarity, empathy, and confidence.
So, my name is Turkey and I represent an employee from one of the divisions Coca-Cola is planning to sell, the plastic division. My whole career, identity, and expertise have been built around work that now feels uncertain. I'm entering the meeting with fear, confusion, and deep sense of personal loss. This change affects my livelihood, my confidence, and my sense of belonging. My role is to show the emotional side of change, how employees feel when their future becomes unclear.
My name is Julia and I'm playing the role of a middle manager at Coca-Cola. I'm responsible for leading a team that works closely with several divisions the company is planning to sell. That puts me in a complicated position. I feel the pressure from leadership to push the change forward, but I also see the fear, confusion, and instability my team is experiencing. Middle managers often feel stuck in the middle, and that's exactly how I feel here. My introduction sets the stage for someone trying to protect their team while also trying to stay loyal to the company's strategy.
Hi, my name is Nina, and I play the role of the external consultant brought in to help Coca-Cola manage this major transition. So my job is to listen to the emotions, concerns, and reaction of the employees and also the managers, and to help guide the organization in a way that reduces fear and increases trust. I'm here to interpret what people are feeling and help the company navigate the human side of change, not just the strategic plan.
Hey everyone, thank you for being here, and a special thanks to our consultant who will be taking some notes and then giving us some suggestions at the end of how we can really implement this change successfully. So without further ado, I'll go in a little bit of depth of why we're doing this. And basically, over the last decade, Coca-Cola has expanded into areas which are really outside of our core, such as plastics, wine, and tea and shrimp farms. And really, the data shows that businesses, especially those ones, really distract us from what we do best, which is our beverages. So, to refocus, unfortunately, we've decided to sell all of our non-core divisions and concentrate entirely only on the soft drinks. And of course, before we take the action and make the final decision, I really want to understand your reactions, and this is why we're doing this meeting. So please really share openly and feel free to say any concerns or doubts that you have about this, okay?
Okay, so I'll start. My whole team is really shaken, and obviously so am I. My whole team has come to me and discussed that they are lacking a lot of clarity, and when they lack clarity, that also then becomes very difficult for our daily operations to continue. So I'm really glad that you came to us and are discussing this with us. I had a lot of people that came to me and they told me they had a sense of confusion on what their workload would be, what the future of their job would look like, and if they would still have a job because of this reorganization and of selling this part of the company. So I think it would be really great for us to have a discussion with that and also just understand what happens when this sale goes through, because I'm experiencing a lot of stress from people who have no predictability on what's going to happen with their jobs, and then that also makes it really difficult for me to be a leader and listen to their problems.
Yeah, I was expecting this, and honestly, really thank you so much for sharing yours and the employees' point of view. And I think you're absolutely right. Unpredictability does make people defensive. But what is it that you are personally fearing right now?
So I'm fearing that there'll be a lot of stress in the workspace, and also that people aren't going to have any stability or clarity on what the next steps are. I'm also worried about for my team, my ability as a leader to help go through this change with them, especially when I'm not so sure what is happening and lacking that clarity myself.
Yeah, thank you a lot, Julia. I really appreciate everything you've said, but I'd also think it's very important to give the floor to Turkey, because he is part of a division that's going to be cut and impacted the most in this change. So I'm sure there's a lot of questions, uncertainty, and I'd love to give the floor to you to tell us how you're feeling.
Well, first I thank you for giving me the floor. I really have many mixed feelings about this, but I'm really devastated. I've worked in the manufacturing plastic in Coca-Cola for years now.
Yeah.
It's where I built my skills, my confidence, my identity in this company. But when you say the whole division is being sold, it feels like everything I've built and I've worked for is disappearing in a moment, you know? But what scares me the most is not the job itself, it's the uncertainty, the feeling of not knowing where I'll end up with, not knowing if I'm still gonna be here. But people on the floor whispering, panicking, imagining the worst scenario cases, and honestly, I am too. When people feel they have no control, they shut down. That's what's happening to us right now. But in the end, I want to stay committed. But right now, fear is taking over.
Thanks a lot, Turkey. Truly, once again, I really appreciate your point of view, and I want to acknowledge that your feelings are very valid and not an overreaction. They're completely normal. It's scary to feel that you're losing your role, expertise, and identity. But I really want to express that I'm really responsible for addressing them and not ignoring them. We're gonna work through this together. And I think maybe you could share some of your
Perfect.
ideas
Thank
too.
you. So what I've been seeing from now is that you guys both resist change, but not because you oppose the company, but more because you're afraid of losing something important, something like stability, competence, identity, the influence, or the community. So I'll just share what I've been hearing. So I took some notes. Now we'll just go over those. So first of all, Turkey, you're expressing deep emotional response, which is totally understandable. When someone's role is threatened, emotions like fear, insecurity, and even grief can appear. I understand that you've been working in this division for over 4 years, but hearing that, and like for you, hearing that the division will be sold feels like a threat to your competence. Losing that foundation naturally makes you feel exposed and unsure, which I also totally understand. Like, your uncertainty about your place in the future is also super overwhelming for you, what you've been saying. Also, it spreads probably to your colleagues, creating a collective sense of fear. These reactions show how important it is for the company to provide clearance, reassurance, and pathway forward. And then secondly, also for you, Julia, you're carrying two burdens. You fear your own, and you have also the one of your teams. For middle managers, it often feels like you're squeezed because they're expected to manage people's emotions, but you also have the ones of your own. Like, your concern about workflow disruptions is logical. You're thinking about structural impacts, but behind that it's something deeper, like a sense of losing control, as you said, and over the system that you've built over the last few years.
Once again, thanks to all of you. I think it's important that we had this because I think you both really deserve stability and clarity, and we will implement all of the solutions that the consultant gave. Because I think I'm very committed to us communicating, being involved, and supporting each other throughout the entire process.
But sorry to interrupt, but I've heard you for the past 2 or 3 meetings saying we're gonna implement what the consultant says, and now the last thing I know is my division is getting like sold.
Yeah, and look, I understand where you're coming from.
I don't really think you are.
I do, because I think it's important that we participate and get you guys involved, because I see that you're scared. I want you to know the entire process and why it's happening and the reasonings behind it. and we will provide you with support and facilitate you, whether that means moving you across to a different division and training you for that, if that's something you're open to.
But then that means that I'm gonna start all over.
But
And all my expertise will
we
go.
value you as an employee and we don't want to lose you. But it came to a time where we had to make these difficult decisions because from a financial point of view.
I'm just sorry, I just cannot do it anymore. Thank you.
Guys, really sorry about his tantrum. I
alright.
think it's really very difficult, you know, when you're unsure about where your job being, you know,
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
where your next paycheck's gonna come from.
Yeah.
No, I just wasn't really expecting that. I thought we guided through the whole change pretty well, but maybe correct
No,
me if I'm
exactly.
wrong.
Yeah, no. So what I've been seeing from you is that you really try to implement the participation and involvement strategy. You also really try to facilitate and support the employees, and you're actually doing the opposite because he reacted in a way that like he's angered, which is like, but you didn't implement the explicit and implicit coercion strategy. So I do understand where he's coming from, but you've done the best strategies that you could have taken in this
So you're
situation for change.
saying I shouldn't implement the change through power in a way?
No.
Why?
I just think that doesn't work in this situation because you've already tried this strategy and he's already super angry.
Yeah.
If you're gonna push through
Yeah.
and power, it's not gonna work out. They're just gonna be angered, and then what's mostly important, the people who will stay, the people working for like the beverage division, they'll see that too.
Yeah.
It
that's
affects
true.
them too. And if you're gonna be in a power position all the time, it isn't gonna work out. So what you've
Okay.
been doing now is really good, and we just need to make sure to validate his feelings, because it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Okay, yeah, no, thank you for that. I think regarding next steps, I will arrange a meeting within a week to come up with a more concrete plan of what's to come, of how we will exactly support him, whether he will be willing to do some of the training programs that I said. Please communicate this to the rest of the team as well in your next meetings. But yeah, this is gonna be a long process, and I think us meeting as regular as possible will help ease
No,
the
I totally
resistance.
agree. I totally agree.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
let's wrap up for today.
Thank you so much
Thanks.
for this meeting, for inviting me. I hope that I'm gonna be helpful in the process,
Yeah.
and we'll see. Thank you for watching. Cheers!